Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Push podcast. My name is Jack Ferguson, an experienced marketing and sales consultant with a science background, and I'm your host. This season of the podcast is essential listening for small and medium-sized companies looking for their next stage of growth. Myself and other experts will explore common problems in marketing, product, and sales. We will deconstruct them and then detail straightforward, evidence-based remedies for you. I aim to give you both inspiration and practical solutions to push through similar challenges in your own company. Thanks for being here, and don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 9 of the Push podcast. This episode is all about finding what customers actually want. When customers don't even know, better questions are needed. On this episode, we'll explore how to ask better questions of your customers to ultimately make more money for your business. We're going to explore this through the lens of App Crafter Studios and CEO Sarah, who is the main character of this episode. App Crafter Studios is a fictional development agency with 50 employees, 3 marketers, and 3 salespeople. They do $9 million in recurring revenue each year, and this arm of the business is steady. However, the other side of the business, New Projects, does $6 million and churns as quickly as they acquire customers. To sort out some of the issues, one thing you can do is dive deeper into customer needs. But where do they start? Who do they ask? And what questions will give answers worth actioning? That's what we cover in this episode. Who should listen? CEOs or GMs of mid-sized companies, small business owners, sales professionals who work in small or medium businesses, and marketing professionals who work in small or medium-sized businesses. And of course, just the generally curious. Some of the specifics that this episode will cover include how to optimize specific questions to get deeper insights, how to get inside the customer's mind, what do they really mean, then how can you give them what they want to make more money, why first answers are never enough, why you need to unpack each answer to find the gold, are open or closed questions better, and why value is subjective and how pricing quantifies that value. To talk this through, I'm joined again by growth and product marketing specialist Alex Urquhart. If you'd like to find myself or Alex online, you can find the links to our social media pages and websites in this episode's description, whatever platform you're listening on. But for now, let's bring in Alex. Hello again, Alex. Good to see you today on the Push podcast again.
Good to be back, mate.
Well, let's have a quick chat about what we're going to discuss in this episode. App Crafter Studios, a company that I've been helping for a little while now, is wanting to know what questions they should ask their customers to make more money. Sarah, the CEO, she's on board with the need to deeply understand her customers. So that's good. Thank you, Sarah, for listening to me. I do appreciate it. So
nice.
Do you get listened to, Alex?
Selectively. I think if it's what they want to hear, they're all ears. But if it's something they don't, it tends to take a couple of times. But I think Sarah's now got your trust after how many episodes now? Probably 5 or 6 of them?
Yeah, well, I've helped her for 4 episodes.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, and this is a direct correlation with real life where we go into a company and they listen to everything we say. So thank you, Sarah, for imitating reality for us.
Yeah, good.
I want to talk about on this episode, what questions you can ask your customers to make more money. So obviously this company in particular has one arm of the business that is recurring revenue, and they have one arm of the business that is acquisition or new projects, and they're behaving very differently. The two arms of the business are performing quite differently in the sense that the acquisition side is churning as fast as they're gaining people. Or the new project side, should I say, and then you have the recurring revenue that is just motoring along. So you kind of have a different perspective there. You'd want to segment those two areas of the business or those two customer sections because one's going well, one's not going well. So perhaps you're going to ask different questions there. And on the one that's going well, obviously you're going to focus your questions probably more on why they like it and why they're so happy, why they came to you in the first place. And on the we don't like it side, on the new project side, you're going to be more looking at the negatives probably. Like, why don't you like us? What's wrong with us?
Absolutely.
What have we done to you? Have we hurt you? Have we hurt you? And
Don't answer that.
we didn't mean to, but tell us how that happened and we will we will aim to amend and heal that wound. And yeah.
We'll at least do our best. So in saying that, what makes a quality question?
So I think about questions in the sense that they dictate the agenda of conversation. So the question you asked me now just dictates what I should respond to. I could come back to you and say zebras are on the decline in Africa, Alex, and wouldn't really make sense in the context of this conversation.
Yep.
So you set the agenda that wasn't zebras, you set the agenda that was around the quality of questions. So it is worth asking really good questions because, again, that does dictate the actionability of the answer typically. If Sarah, in this case, was to ask her clients, do you enjoy our service? That's going to give you a binary answer, yes or no. Can you action that? Not really.
Probably not. Yeah.
There's not nothing you can do with it. You can feel good about yourself if a lot say yes, but it's not really going to make you better. If she asks, what do you value about our service? Now we're getting more into something that will give you actionable answers and actionable items to go away and talk about. What did you dislike about our service? These are not as specific as you could get, but they are in the right direction from what I mentioned first. They're not binary. They are targeted. And if you're asking, for example, the arm of the business, what do you value about our service? The arm of the business is going well. What do you value about our service? That's interesting. So you want to keep doing that, obviously. And you might even want to take that information and use that earlier on in the sales process to sell that in because that's what a lot of people in the market are valuing. And obviously, you're probably going to lean down the what do you dislike about our service to the people who aren't liking your service.
Right. Lean into one, the other. So using different words in the questions itself will give you different answers.
Yes.
Okay.
It's worth thinking deeply about a question. I mean, the more considered the question, the more insightful the answer, typically. So if you ask a broad question, answers can be both useless and useful. Like, if you ask a broad question, they'll probably use this. They probably will be.
I do like that. You put as much effort into the question as they should in the answer.
Yes.
I think that's a good point.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Thank you, Alex.
Just summarizing your question, I think so.
So, like, if someone says, we liked working with you because you did a good job, again, not going to help you be better. I like hearing that, and thank you for saying that about me, Alex. I do appreciate that. But yeah, it's not going to make you better.
Yeah.
More so, like, we appreciated the updates you gave us every week. The last place we were working with didn't do that. We wouldn't hear from the last company for 2 months at a time. We needed the payment terms you gave us. We couldn't afford the upfronts that were offered elsewhere. Insightful stuff, right? And so I saw recently, actually, a company that I was speaking to, they were asking pricing questions, or a pricing question to be specific. And they said, would you be willing to pay, and I'm going to use an arbitrary figure, would you be willing to pay $200 for this? And the problem with that question is, again, yes or no. It doesn't tell you whether they'd be willing to pay $250 for it, for example. So there's 3 categories of questions that I'd look at, which one being pricing, one being comms related, and one being service or product related, and I'll speak about them in a second. You want to get the most insightful answer possible so that you can recycle that back into your business.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, just a couple of quick ones. So I'd say the service or product related questions. So they will help you to inform or better adjust your service or product. So that could be the actual delivery of it, how you're executing it, because you might, for AppCrafter Studios, they might be selling it well, the new project part, but they're just delivering really poorly. Like they might have a problem with delivery. It might be, and you might get some insights around the offer itself. Like, are we actually offering the right value proposition? And if people are saying things like, oh, I wish you did this, or I wish you didn't do that, you can go, oh, maybe we need to change our offer a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. So answers should be actionable. The thing I'd say with that part as well is that service or product related questions can generally give you your points of parity and your points of difference. So points of parity being things that people expect, but it's not really going to differentiate you or make you special. So a restaurant being hygienic, expected.
Hope so. Yeah.
A restaurant not giving you salmonella, expected.
Yep.
You know, a restaurant not yelling at you, expected.
Hopefully expected, depending on what it is. Is that saying on that points of parity? Can it have the negative effect? Like if you lean in and saying, "Hey, we have a hotel with beds and clean showers,"
of course,
that's almost like a negative, right? Because you're like, well, if that's what they're leading with, then imagine what's behind that. Like,
So these questions, I'd say, though, are not necessarily what you'd communicate, but they might be what you do.
Right. Okay.
So the hotel and beds, like the points of parity is what you do. It's not like you don't go, we. Yeah, again, with the restaurant example, you don't say we are hygienic here. You just be hygienic, right?
Yes, yeah.
But it's worth noting them because you do need to know how to run your business and how to run your brand so that you're not missing a point of parity. You're not missing a standard. So yeah, that's the service and product related area. So that you could use that to think about the delivery of your service or product, and Sarah could in this case, or that it could be about the offer itself. So are we actually offering the right value prop to the market? Comms related one, so like this category as well. So something to help you with the communications, advertising, and what salespeople say. You know, you could ask questions like, what was the most important feature or offer we had that made you choose us, for example.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's really looking at that entry point early on before they've started working with you, because it's all well and good for people to like things about you once they're working with you, but that doesn't necessarily get them in the door in the first place.
Right. So when to ask the questions also plays a role.
Yes. Yeah. So that will be a tough question for someone who's been a customer for 3 years. You know, that's a hard one because they can't remember.
Yes. And they probably say, "Oh, Joe from support's really helpful." Well, that's again nice, but that doesn't really answer our question either. So,
exactly. So yeah, that can highlight your points of difference. Often it does just sometimes tell you that they just knew who you were, right place, right time, pissed off with current supplier, saw Joe in the supermarket and remembered you. And
they didn't do a market comparison with you against the wall with 6 things and go, oh, this one's the best by far because of these reasons. It was like you were there when I needed you, and then I bought you.
Exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
Exactly. But what they're saying, like whatever they answer to these questions, you know you can put that in your comms, your advertising, on your website. That can inform that. And then you've got the pricing focused category as well. So you don't want to ask questions like...
would you buy this for $200?
Yeah, would you buy this for $200? I've heard a few different approaches to pricing. So one could be when you have a customer or a client that you're working with, I've heard people go, okay, you're working with us now, you're paying this amount, we'll keep you on that price, but what would you pay us?
Interesting.
That's something that someone's experiencing the value of your product or your service, and then you're trying to see, well, what would they have paid?
Gotcha.
It is harder for service-based ongoing businesses to ask questions like that because the person feels like, they're admitting that they're getting more value than what.
And if they say it, they'll
for.
charge more. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's where it's really important to reassure them that won't happen. They'll be grandfathered in.
Yes, correct. So it takes that fear out of. I was going to say that I always feel is the biggest issue, right? When you want to find, would you pay for this? Because you can ask, do you see value? Yes or no. But would you pay? What would you pay for this? I always have a thing of they're always going to say less than what they would because they're not stupid, like as you said. But I do like that you take that risk out of that conversation and say, well, we're not going to change the price. Relax, everything's fine. If not, we can even give you a discount, right? Just be calm, chill. But if you had to, if you were me, what would you charge? So yeah, that I do like that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's much easier as well for like a product. So you sell it, they've already bought it. There's no risk to them anymore.
Yep.
So if you ask some pricing questions, they're probably more likely to be really honest about it.
Yep.
Not the case with Appcrafter Studios. They're a service company. So there's that. There's a pricing approach I use a lot. Von Westendorp, I think he's a Dutch guy or something, but he came up with this idea of having 4 questions that you ask people about pricing. Number 1 being, at what price would this be so low you'd question the quality? Number 2 being, at what price would this come across as a bargain? At what price would this be so expensive but you'd still pay for it? And at what price would this be too expensive? Now, the value of something like this to me is it makes people put a flag in the ground in 4 different spots rather than this, what would you pay? You know, sort of thing. And they kind of just stab in the dark at where they think they'd pay. This is like, no, I want you to put 4 flags in the ground.
Yep. So you triangulate it as in like probably one of them or 2 of them are going to be off. But if you said, you know, ceiling, floor, side, somewhere in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I like that.
So there's a psychological benefit to it too. Yep. Often pricing is so psychological. Like it's a real insight into what someone thinks of their own business, the way they price it. But so what it can do is it can like really shake that up in someone's head for a start, because they go, oh, I didn't know that we could charge double for what we do, you know, and that's huge. That's business changing, you know, at times. But it also then gives you the practical, okay, well, we probably do need to jack this up $300 a month or
Yep.
$800, or in App Crafter Studios, it could be thousands a month or tens of thousands.
Or it could be less, you know. It could be that this is an anomaly person that paid $1,000, but you can't find anyone else. And he's like, oh, it'd be better if it was, you know, if 300. You're like, oh crap, maybe we should lower this.
Exactly. But that's why you'd ask a lot of people before you'd make pricing
Yes.
changes. Yeah. So again, any one person is just one data point. It's qualitative data.
Yep.
But those are some interesting questions Sarah could ask about price. To get it moving in the right direction, you don't get this stuff perfect.
Yep.
You get it better.
Yes, I agree. And I was going to say, I think those questions are really good because I always say there's never an exact answer, but you can clear the painting a little bit more. You can see it a bit clearer, and you can say, oh, I can make a better judgment now than I did before, but it's not going to be, $39.50. It's not going to be that specific. A question I'll ask you, and I'm asking you probably there is no answer because it's a pain in the ass when I hear it, but how many people should she ask? You said before one data point's not enough, or how many is enough?
100.
100?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that was a fast answer.
Yeah. If you look at a lot of statistical methodology, you can get you can extrapolate decently actually just with a 100-person data set.
Yep.
Now, they're supposed to be randomized, and I put that word in inverted commas. So, you know, in the market research people, they can define that and they know exactly how to do it. For a company like this, you could ask 100 people.
Okay.
And you could get a decent answer. Again, you want to randomize them. You don't want them to be from the same company.
Yep.
If you're asking, try and randomize it as much as you can.
Yep. So not just existing customers, new non-customers, people never heard of you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's also where you got to be careful though of different segments within the market. So if you're asking someone about pricing, there's something about them or their company that means that they're not going to value what you do as much as another customer. You can't put them in the same category.
Right.
Like you can't think of that the same. So if someone was to come to me and they're just starting up a business, let's say, and they want, you know, unless they got a lot of money and they want my time, it's going to cost too much. It doesn't make sense for them to do that. It doesn't make economical sense. I can't give them enough value at that scale for what I need to charge. But if I compared that to a App Crafter Studios, like a 50-person business, my rates are fine.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you're asking the person who's just starting one up, hey, you can't ask them and then ask the other segment.
Yes, yeah, because I was going to say it's the whole value is subjective, right? Like it's yes, like you're gonna see different value, and I always think that the pricing is just a quantitative version of value.
And that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, how many points of value, how many dollars, I guess. But it's, you know, it's how much you're going to see. It's subjective. You know, it's like a CRM for a multinational company will pay $1 million a year, but a local person could essentially get the same functionality for $39 a month or something along those lines. So, yeah, it is. It is. And I guess as you're saying, look at the people, not too left of center, but like in that same realm that will give you a decent output.
Yes.
Yep.
And it can actually indicate, it can give you an insight into your segments, because if you have 80%, or so let's say 20% of your portfolio are coming back with these huge pricing numbers, you can go, what is it about them that makes them value what we do so much more? So it can be like, it can help with targeting as well.
Yeah. And if there's a segment that values you more, that's a good indicator, right? If it's a big enough segment.
Exactly. So you go, okay, let's try and profile them a bit better. Let's go after more of them. And we know why they value us. So because on the surface, sometimes customers can just look the same. It's, you know, a 50-person company and it's a 50-person company and a 45-person company, and they all kind of look the same. But there might be something about them that's so different that means that you can add value to one miles more than another, which will mean that they're happy to pay much more, the one that you can add value to. You know, it's not complicated. So that's a few things I'd say. I would also say don't ask open questions for the most part.
Okay.
I don't like that. You can maybe ask some right at the end, like, oh, you know, have you got anything else to add?
Okay.
Do you think there's something we should know? But I haven't found in my experience that open-ended questions help that much. Like, you really need them to be quite targeted and specific,
right,
to improve or to get an insight into what you're actually trying to do better.
Okay, so when you focus on optimizing it, having specific questions, because I remember even with like product management or design was like start. I guess it's a different realm, but it's like start broad and go, what do you like about it, and then, you know, the 5 whys, target in deeper. But you're saying if you've got a company the size of Sarah's, that you sort of have that base level information. You know the gist of what they want.
Yes.
It's a matter of I want to nail in this one segment, understand why they do and don't like it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I think they're probably going to be, in this case, the assumption is that there'll be 4 whys into the 5 why.
That's very Okay, good.
So
that wise is that sort of like once they're further in their journey as a company, you would hope that they're at that level of they don't like us because we're nice. It's like they're probably a few levels deep.
Well, they'll have all the context of why they're with you.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be something pretty specific probably.
Okay, I like that.
So
I remember during like sales training, people always say, always open questions, right? It's all about open questions. Best questions in the world. And I agree. It's like there are cases where that is not the case. And like you're saying, getting specific answers quickly and to the point, you do need those, not necessarily closed questions, but you need specific questions.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and you can do specific questions most of the way through, and then you can chuck an open one in at the end if you want.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do that, go for it.
Yep.
I'm not going to stop you, okay? Put the gun away. But I would say in general, like it's so easy for answers to questions that you ask to be useless. It's really easy.
Yes, good.
It's like you have to, and that's with the 5 whys comes in. You have to keep digging until something useful comes out.
Yeah, and I like the thing you said before. You got to put that effort into the question.
Yes,
and I think so many people don't. They expect the user to just know what you're trying to say and know, or the person, because they'll say, "Oh, what do you like about our product? What do you not like?" The price could be cheaper and it's nice to use. That doesn't help anyone with anything. I think it's good if you got to put that effort in of how would I phrase a question that's going to give me this specific answer.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, in this case, what is the one thing you wish we didn't do?
I like that.
What is the one thing you wish we did do?
Yes. And even using their words, I think you said before too.
Yeah.
I've heard one of not what you don't like, what frustrates you constantly about the platform? Same question, really. But you're sort of going like, that's probably a word they've used of like, this thing's frustrating the crap out of me. And so I do like that. And they go, oh, yeah, actually, this thing that you've done over here, I don't like. And you're like, well, thank you. That's clearer. That's probably from a product perspective. But yeah.
If you don't get the answer you want, you can rephrase it too. It's like, what frustrates you about the platform? Oh, it's just a bit slow. And you can go, if there's one thing you would change about a platform, what would it be? You can keep on kind of digging away at this.
Yep.
What is it?
Which is why you always say, talking to the customer is so important. You could do a survey and shortcut it and go, can you answer these? But to that exact point, depending on what they say, you've got to recalibrate and try again. And you can't do that via a survey. So another reason to talk to your customers. Yes, which is the theme of this whole series at this point, it seems. But thanks, Alex. I think we've given Sarah a bit to think about there. Give me something to think about. I could start changing the way I ask questions now. The structure with a bit more thought. Sorry about that, mate. Sorry to my clients so far. But yeah, I'm going to come back in episode 11 and talk about acquisition costs and why I'm not a fan, actually. And I'm going to tell Sarah what I think she should do instead. Cost of acquisition. Keen as for that one. Awesome. Thanks, mate. Talk soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Push Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, and if you are enjoying the episodes, please leave a review of the podcast on your platform of choice. It really helps to build the podcast credibility and to help others find this type of information.